Well, we're in my studio in Malibu at the beach, in Malibu beach house. You hear the sea out there with these lovely tides and all that kind of thing. This is an instrument that I tried to buy for years. The problem was that they had Roland had stopped making it. This is called a Roland C30. Nobody, they just stopped making them because I guess it was a prestige instrument. The samples that are on it, because it's for professional people playing Baroque music, and they have in Tokyo a museum of antique instruments, and they sampled, it was an extremely difficult task for Roland to achieve. Cost a lot of money. Apparently they didn't make any money on these things despite having sold the entire run. So you were reduced to trying to find a second-hand one, since there were no new ones for sale anywhere. And finally, after trying and writing to people, looking up online and trying to find an instrument all over the world, I emailed somebody in the east of England and never got an answer. There was one in some place somewhere in the Midwest. They didn't reply either. Finally, there was a shop in the Florida Panhandle, but the guy, the manager of that shop, had obtained this when it came out and was very jealous of it. And he certainly, if they were selling it, you had to come and collect it. They almost wanted to check you out. So we managed, thanks to a singer in Florida, we managed to get a hold of these people, and finally I was able to talk to the man, and finally I had to play the card of telling them who I was, and it was wondrous gift of the universe that the guy said, "Oh, give me half an hour and I'll see what we can do." And so he called me back half an hour later and said, "Okay, I will do it exceptionally, we'll send it to you," and so on. "It's going to cost X amount, etc." And we agreed upon it, and I was therefore this thing arrived probably more than I think it's almost 2 years that I've had it. I can't remember, I lost track of time, but it is something that I play every single day because it's such a marvelous and rare instrument.
Beautiful.
And it also has, you can also play a kind of very rare organ which has this sound to it. The other peculiar thing is that a harpsichord has a stop. A normal acoustic harpsichord has a stop that is known as a lute. It makes the sound of a lute through this. Here you just touch here. the lute sound, the lute harpsichord sound. This is not a lute sample, this is a harpsichord. This is a function of a double keyboard harpsichord. And you can also play in all the classical tonalities. You're not reduced to the way modern instruments are tuned to. So there's all the famous different tunings, from equal to
That's awesome.
mean tone to Werkmeister, Valotti, which is an Italian tuning. I shouldn't call it tuning, it's a temperament.
What about the inscription on it? What's that mean?
The inscription here is a famous Latin inscription saying Musica laetitiae comes, medicina dolorum, which means music is the companion to joys and the remedy or the medicine for all pains, dolorum, which is pains. And it is to be found on an instrument in the famous Vermeer painting called The Music Lesson.